It's time for slang.
Welcome to another episode of your favorite slash football podcast at this point. It's another episode of the Highline podcast, and it's not one you're used to. It's a Christmas special, like I promised. I told you guys I always keep my word. As usual, by the voice, you can tell it's me, Feyi, the voice of reason, the voice of truth. I speak the truth, only the truth, and nothing but the truth. You're never going to stop hearing that from me. And, like I said, it's a Christmas special. Beside me, I don't have Emeka or Chaps or Neto or Uduak. I have the man, the myth, the legend. The reason I am suffering as an Arsenal fan today, my dad. Welcome to the show, Dad.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? It's good to be on the show.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for making out time for us. Like I said, he's the reason I support Arsenal. So definitely you had an interest in football growing up. So did you ever play football, like actually play football while growing up?
Yeah, while growing up, yes. Of course, for every young lad out there in Nigeria, you play some home soccer, in groups. But of one particular incident that comes readily to mind is when I was in my secondary school. Yeah, I remember very well. I think it was in Form 3 or Form 4. I can't be particular. And then after school, we play football. Every day is always after school football. And you can remember all in our white and our sandals. And then after school, you go in your sandals. And then we're playing football. And then before I knew what was happening, my Veracudio, that's the name of the sandals, was stolen. And then I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to tell my mom? And my friend said, what's your problem? There's so many issues here. Take somebody else's own. I know that below. I was advised and I took somebody else's own, which was also a Veracudio, by the way. So yes, football has always been something in me. Football has always been something I liked so much.
Okay, wow. That says a lot. He has never told us that story, so you guys got a Christmas special from him.
Yeah.
And
bonus.
So you did play football while growing up, although not professionally. So, like I said, you're an Arsenal fan. So, were you always interested in the Premier League? Did anything spur you to support Arsenal? Did you consider supporting any other teams before supporting Arsenal?
Yeah, Arsenal. Arsenal wasn't. If you were a lad like myself growing up in the 70s and 80s in Nigeria, you will know that the teams you always support are the stationery stores, the IICC, and the Rangers of this world.
That's Nigerian Football League, guys.
Yeah, Nigerian Football League. Those were the names. Those were the in thing, and you always be at either the National Stadium or watching from your black and white locker door TV at home. So over the years, I now got to hear about this guy called Kanuma playing for Arsenal. And I was wondering, who is this Arsenal? Because, like I said, we didn't know any football league then other than the Nigerian Football League. And then all of a sudden, we're seeing a Nigerian guy. Yeah, I used to hear of the likes of Stephen Keshi, who was playing in Belgium then. But the Belgium league wasn't also as interesting as, what people... yeah. So, and then all of a sudden, Arsenal came up. I love what Kanu was doing for Arsenal. I love the team as a whole. And then it was like a drug. It just got stuck on me.
Same for every single.
And that was it. That was it. And then there was nothing else for me except the Premier League, which I believe is still the best league in the world so far. And then, of course, Arsenal. As at then, they were the best. But right now, I think I'll leave that towards the end of the show to give my comment on it. But yes, Arsenal for life. Gunners for life.
So, like majority of the people growing up in Nigeria, Kanu drew you towards supporting Arsenal Football Club?
Well, I don't know about others, but for me, yes. And maybe one or two friends I spoke with. But later, when Kanu left, I think we all just loved everything about Arsenal. We all love the tiki-taka style of football they do. And, it was... so mesmerizing to watch.
Did you consider supporting any other team like Chelsea, Man United?
Never. There was no point in time, even when they were down. I hated Chelsea. I called them shell shit. I hated Man U. I called them the small devil. And then Liverpool, of course, they just started coming up, and then the Tottenham of this world, oh, forget them. So for me, it's Arsenal all the
So
way.
it's always been Arsenal.
It's always been Arsenal, and if at all I decide to go with any other team, it's probably the Real Madrid in the La Liga.
Oh, okay.
La Liga is my second favorite league, and of course Real Madrid. And I always take Arsenal for them any day, any time.
So when you first started supporting Arsenal, obviously Arsene Wenger had just come into the job. They were a big team, but they were building towards this sort of dynasty because like Arsenal signed Kanu in 99 and they had just won the Premier League in 98. So they were a really good team by the time he came in. So what were your first thoughts on Arsene Wenger and the team he was building at the time?
As at that time was like, who the hell is this professor coming in to take over the team? Are you sure he's not going to bring us down the drain? But, after watching what he had to do and then watching the likes of Anelka, watching the likes of Henry Thierry, watching the head of Perez, it was magic. It was people playing football. I mean, watching this computer game stuff, but it's real.
Yeah.
Well, you're seeing it live happening. That's why they were untouchables. They were the best in the world. And if I'm right, nobody has beaten that record in the Premier League.
Yeah.
No one. So they're still outstanding by the record. That's why I said, forget the fact that they're going down the deep. But until I see someone match that record, the likes of Man City, now Liverpool, they're still playing. I watched them recently and I still tell myself, these guys are beatable. They're beatable.
The Arsenal you supported while you were younger, not the current Arsenal.
I'm saying even the Man City of this world, the Liverpool of this world now, the Chelsea of this world, you watch them play and you tell yourself they are beatable. Their defense is shambolic.
So I know you said Kanu drew you to watch or to become an Arsenal fan, and you've been an Arsenal fan for about 20, 21, 22 years
Absolutely.
right now. But obviously, like you said, Kanu left. Actually, before that, were you an Arsenal fan by the time Kanu scored that hat-trick against Chelsea?
Oh, memory period. I was, and I could remember it very well. How it all started, the hat-trick. I think it was the third goal that was something else. That third goal, I can never forget. It's like there. It's always a memorable for me, and I really love that. But having said that, at that time, it was no more about Kanu. It was about Arsenal itself.
Okay.
It was about Arsenal.
So aside Kanu, obviously that drew you to become an Arsenal fan, who would you say was the player that kept you in Arsenal? Was he just one player or the team itself?
Thierry.
Say every single person.
Thierry, oh my God. That guy is like an icing on the cake. It's like a hot knife driving through butter. It's something else. It's something else. He if you never love football and you watch Henry play, you will know that yes, oh my God, I got to love football.
Facts.
Yeah. So that's it.
Okay.
He was one guy that did the magic, and then of course the other teams were very good. I mean, members of the team were very good. Perez, Vieira,
Ljungberg,
Beckham, and then the Ashavins of this world.
Yeah, but that was later on.
That was much later on, but the Ashavins of this world, the Fabregas of this world, they made Arsenal look so interesting. Yeah.
So how did he feel at the time? Because right now, like, I introduce myself to people, I'm like, oh, I'm an Arsenal fan, and they start laughing. So how did he feel at the time? Like, you were able to walk around the way Man City and Liverpool fans walk around these days. Like, you were able to raise your shoulder, like, yes, I'm an Arsenal fan. How did it feel? I want to know as an Arsenal fan suffering
then
right now.
or now?
Back then.
Back then, of course, everybody wants to beat an Arsenal, the Arsenal team. And the Arsenal guy were loud. Oh. We have the voice. We have the control. We had the swag. Yeah. We had everything going. We had one of the largest supporters club back in Nigeria then and still now. So all those noisy, pokey neighbors that we had, they were just copying what we're doing. Arsenal was always ahead. Miles ahead. I don't know what they're saying right now. But even right now, I'll be upfront with you. You're an Arsenal fan, fine. You get disappointed, fine, But look at all those shell sheets, Man U's and the Tottenham. They get disappointed. They want to break ahead. They want to drown themselves. They don't know how to manage disappointment. But with us now,
that's not a good thing that we don't have to manage disappointment.
Well, you see, that's the reality. We all want to win every time. Look at the game that they played recently. I never expected Tottenham to play such a game with Liverpool. I never did. But it was one game I felt I was like, okay, Liverpool will win so that Tottenham will not come up. But at the time, I had to give it to Tottenham. That's why I'm saying that all these people are not invisible. But in those days when Arsenal was playing, Arsenal was invisible.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
So, obviously, since you started supporting Arsenal in 1999 because of Kanu, your first Premier League trophy was in 2002.
Yeah.
Against Manchester United.
Yeah.
In Old Trafford.
In Old Trafford.
Talk to me about that. How was that?
You said it yourself. Everybody saw Old Trafford as the Lions' den. But we went there and we conquered them, we dismantled them. We broke them to pieces. We even tore the Lion to pieces. So for us, it was like, you go, I mean, those days, Old Trafford, you can't come in there. You're playing against 12 people, 11 and the referee. Yeah. That was the thing in Old Trafford then. But now going in there, I mean, it was awesome. It was one victory that you will never forget. You understand? And that's why I said, those were football. I mean, those were good football then, not now.
And obviously, you have what everybody talks about, the invincible season. Talk to me, at the start of the season, did you think, when it was 10 games, 12 games, 15 games, 18 games, did you think, hang on a minute, we might actually do this. We might actually go through the whole season unbeaten? Or you were just thinking, win the league, that's all I care about?
Listen, that particular season, it was like, okay, Sarah, whatever will be, let's just go ahead. Because we were having some draws, some wins, and it was like, okay. Nobody was gunning for the invisible. Mm-hmm. But I think it was usually after the Christmas season, you're like, hey, come to think of it, we've not lost anyone.
We haven't lost a game yet.
And it was not like, this could be real. And then, just like, I'm going to give you something now. Watch out. Yes, we're losing right now in this year's Premier League. But the trick is going to happen. The inevitable is going to happen. And Arsenal will shock a lot of people.
Okay. You guys heard it here first. It's a prophecy. He's a dickhead, so he knows what he's talking about. How did you feel going into every game? You look in the tunnel, you had Thierry Henry, you had Dennis Beckham, you had Freddie Ljungberg, you had Patrick Vieira, you had Sol Campbell, you had Jens Lehmann, you had Ashley Cole. It seemed like you went into every single game feeling like there's no way in hell we're going to lose this game.
Absolutely. Those were the days where you want to watch the football match, you get your popcorn, you get your drink, you put your leg on the sofa, and you're watching and you're happy and you're smiling. These days, you don't do that.
Yep.
These days, your heart is in your mouth, you're biting your fingers, you're like screaming, shaking, kicking an invisible chair, and speaking to yourselves, you understand? But those days, you're confident that come what may, a draw you'll get, but not a defeat.
Yep.
100%. But that's it. We had the best of the best then, but I believe as time goes on, we'll still get there. It's a long road, very long road, bitter one for that matter. A lot of Arsenal fans has got heart attack here and there, or, what have you. But one thing we kept going is we're always within the first 10, and sometimes first 7, first 8. But
fall from
back
grace.
then, it was a done deal.
So one of the most memorable victories from that invincible season was the 4-2 against Liverpool, the Thierry Henry hat-trick. Do you remember exactly where you were, every single thing about that game? And also, Arsenal clinched the title in White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
Did you see Tottenham as relevant at that point in time to be like, we won the league in your stadium as a bragging right, or it was just, we won the league, now let's go for the unbeaten season?
Tottenham. Who was Tottenham then? Never had that name then. Who was Tottenham? No, it's the truth. Who was Tottenham then?
Yeah.
Tottenham was never existed where the invisible was.
Yeah.
Tottenham was not. It was like saying who was even Liverpool then.
So the Thierry Henry hat-trick wasn't that much of a big deal for you because you were like, we're winning this game.
With Tottenham, hands down.
I'm talking about the Liverpool games.
Sorry, Liverpool. Okay, yeah, with Liverpool, hands down, because they didn't have the team then. Liverpool in the last couple of seasons just started having one of the best teams in the world, and even at that, like I said, which season was it? Was it 2019-20 when Wolves beat them 3-0 at home?
Was it Wolves? It was Watford.
Sorry, Watford.
Yeah.
Watford beat them 3-0 at home.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? I mean, you
So
can't
you
come
still
to
stand by your point of view that the Invincible team is the best team in the history of the Premier League?
for years to come.
Okay.
I don't see any team breaking that.
And
we always make reference and brag about it. Let them win all the Premier Leagues in this world. What we tell is go unbeaten in one season, then we'll doff our hats for you.
Okay. And then in 2004, the same Invincible season, you obviously had hopes of winning the Champions League as well.
Yeah.
But then Wayne Bridge at Stamford Bridge. Talk to me about that moment.
I think I cried that day. Because it was more like it was our year. We're having it all, it was like an early Christmas gift for us.
Champions League.
Early Christmas gift. Christmas gift was like Santa brought Christmas to us early in the year. But like they say, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. But it wasn't what was supposed to happen to the Invisible at that period.
Yeah. And what is probably my first footballing memory alongside Peter Crouch scoring a hat-trick against Arsenal was the 2006 Champions League final. But before we get to the defeat, you were an Arsenal fan when Arsenal rocked up to the Bernabeu and Thierry Henry stole the show.
Yep.
Talk to me about that performance.
At the Bernabeu, it was those were games like, you put in the archives, you always want to watch, but towards the end, when you see the defeat, it's always like, God, what happened? How did this happen? We had the game all wrapped up. It was more like, dismantling Barcelona.
No, I was focusing on the semi-final against Real Madrid.
The semi-final. That was piece of cake. Real Madrid was nowhere then. No, come on.
But they had the Galacticos. They have David Beckham. They had all those star players.
We had Henry.
That's true.
We had Lundberg.
That's all you need to know.
We had the crop, and so beating Real Madrid hands down was nothing to us.
And at the time, were you infuriated that for any reason at all that Thierry Henry never won the Ballon d'Or?
You see, at that time, up to now, I think a lot of people just hate us now.
I agree.
A lot of people just hate us now. They don't want, they feel as if we're, how will I put it? The Arsenal, one team just came out from nowhere. I want to dominate the world.
Because for me, the season when Pavel Nedved won it, Thierry Henry had about 20 goals, 20 assists.
Absolutely.
Should have won it.
He should have won it. But the Ballon d'Or, till late, I know it's just a political thing. Look at the one that happened recently, for crying out loud.
Thank you.
What's it called again? Messi? What are you going to attribute that he did
last year
that made him win the Ballon d'Or?
So you believe Lewandowski should have won it?
Hands down.
Okay.
It was more like if it was a Nigerian, I would just said they've gone to settle them at home.
I agree. I 100% agree. So, 2006 Champions League final, I know you were talking about it. Before we get into what happened later on, the Jens Lehmann red card. How did you feel at that moment in time?
Did he deserve the red card?
I think the goal should have stood and we should have just played on, and he shouldn't have gotten the red card.
Well, like I said, when it comes to Arsenal, a lot of things happened. You watch, typical example was, I've forgotten the game they played recently. He was so sure. Saka was with the ball and the guy kicked Saka.
Crystal Palace.
And it wasn't a red card.
Yeah.
Nothing. So with Arsenal, you get to see a lot of things. And, that particular game, I realized that it was they wanted Barcelona to win, not Arsenal.
Okay.
They felt Arsenal were just coming from nowhere to come and win Champions League.
So despite the red card, we still go ahead. And Funto, who is a Man U fan right now, I'm going to expose him. Growing up, he was an Arsenal fan. He supported Arsenal all his life up until just about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, people like that don't have the heart. They don't have the balls. They move from the hard team to the lesser team.
So talk to
and
me
it's
about
causing them heart pains now. With the so-called, what's his name again, Ronaldo, wastage of money, coming in to do nonsense, you know. I mean, for me, if I keep telling anybody in Man U, you just created a confusion in your team. Mr. Greenwood, like I heard, wants to leave.
I don't think there's any reality to that.
Well, they're saying it, but if he leaves, yes, because he won't have much time to play. Ronaldo is
For now, yes.
Most of the coaches are even scared of talking to Ronaldo. It was Feyi now, yes. Feyi can tell him to go to places. Is it Ole? Or is it the one that, what's his name, Rajnik, or what's his name that is there? They can't talk to this guy.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying that, you know, for us now, we don't care who you are. Just come and show us what it is.
So about the Champions League final, when Sol Campbell scored, was there a hint of belief that, oh my goodness, I'm about to witness my beloved Arsenal win the first ever Champions League trophy?
Right from the kickoff.
Okay.
Right from that's why when that goal was denied for us to win, and then Barcelona came up to score,
Samuel Eto'o.
It was more like a heartbreak.
Right. And were you
But
upset?
from the whistle, it was, you know, like I said, those days where Arsenal playing, you get your popcorn and your drink, and you're in a movie, cinema, and then you're like, okay, oh wow.
Were you upset with Thierry Henry for missing some of the chances he did that night? Because I remember it was one of my first footballing memories, and I always said to myself at the time, oh, Henry is no good. How can he miss such chances? But obviously, I didn't know anything about football at the time.
Yeah.
So did you just think it was the moment, or you just give him a pass because you feel like Arsenal were robbed in terms of the refereeing of that game?
You just nailed it in the head.
Okay.
They were robbed. Because a lot of good players miss chances.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, you can't be a good player and not miss chances. A lot. Name them. Penalties, you wonder. You want to scream your head. And lately with a captain right in front of the goal. Last 2-3 games, missing it. It was as if it was cost.
That happened to be the turning point of the fate, or should I say destinies, of Arsenal Football Club, because a couple seasons after Thierry Henry left.
Yeah.
I remember that as well. I remember I insulted him. I was like, oh, why would he leave? But what was your reaction? Were you expecting it to happen just because you felt like that Champions League trophy that he so dearly wanted, we were no longer able to give it to him?
Just like we say every day, I wasn't expecting it. But when it did happen, I felt bad. And I'm sorry, I was among the people that I said, I hope he breaks a leg when he gets to Barcelona. I remember my friend telling me that, why is that when they leave, all you say is they break a leg? And I said, well, they should go break a leg. That why should they leave a good team to go to a bad team? Because I knew in Barcelona it was going to be like a super sub, which was what eventually happened till he now retired. And good names like that. Pire, what's his name? The guy that went to Man U, one of how did I forget him?
Van Persie?
Van Persie.
Yeah.
See what happened to him, just like that. Alex Sanchez.
Yeah.
See what happened to him. So, but for Thierry Henry, it was more like he was forgiven. Yeah. He was forgiven sincerely because he did a lot for us then. But
I think in the time it's just, you just can't believe one of the reasons you're still an Arsenal fan.
And for you to know that he loves Arsenal, after so many years, he came back to Arsenal.
Yeah, scored that goal against Leeds.
Yeah, so...
so how did it... Because obviously these were my times. These are the times where I started supporting Arsenal. And one of my other first memories was the San Siro, when Fabregas scored that goal in 2008 to take us to the semi-finals of the Champions League. And did you think that season, before we faced Man United, and obviously Ronaldo did what he did against us, did you think that was our season? Also in the Premier League as well, because sorry to cut you off.
For me, every season is our season until when we're defeated.
Okay. And how did you feel when the incident in 2008 as well, Arsenal are cruising to the Premier League, and the whole William Gallas incident happens. He sits down in the middle of pitch after the draw against Birmingham. Eduardo had just gotten his ankle broken,
Yeah.
and he ends up getting stripped of captaincy. We fall away and we end up finishing, I think it was third.
Yeah.
What do you feel like that was our best shot at winning the Premier League in the past 10, 15 years?
No, that wasn't it.
What would you say it was?
That was more like, okay, we had one of the best, not the best team to deliver.
Yep.
And we also had what we call luck on our side.
Okay.
And then the eventuality happened. And then when it happened, it was more like, okay. You know, all these things happen in clubs. It's the ability to manage it that matters. But I guess we didn't manage it well. Maybe due to ego or what have you. But
So how did the 9-year trophy drought affect you?
oh, it's still affecting me up till now. Because I can't imagine us going 9 years without any trophy and then...
Did you ever consider leaving Arsenal at that point?
No, but it was more like what the other stupid shell shit and Man U people were always saying, you know. You need to see what they talk about. And, you know, when you look at it as well, what helped the likes of Liverpool, Man U to say, especially shell shit, was someone who brought in money.
I agree. Roman Abramovich.
Arsenal was making the money.
Yeah.
Arsenal needed nobody to come put in money. Arsenal was more business-like. Okay, we have a football team, yes, we want to make money. But the eggheads that didn't know the fans also needed the trophy.
Yeah, I agree.
So at the end of the day, it was more like what the management didn't fit more for them, which Wenger delivered. Money.
Top four. No trophies.
They felt top four should compensate to the fans and while they make their money.
I agree.
But from top four now, we slipped further down. So it's crazy. It's football politics, like they say. But trust me, Arsenal is going to bounce back.
Okay. And in 2014, we finally... This is one of my best memories as an Arsenal fan, when we won the FA Cup against Hull City.
Yep.
Just how did it feel just having those 9 years of not seeing your team lift the trophy? How did the whole relief come about? Like,
I think if you asked me, it was the one against Chelsea that was sweet.
Oh, the one in 2017?
2017.
Okay.
That was much more better than the one...
Because they had just won the Premier League.
Yeah. And it was more like, oh, they're going to make a mincemeat of Arsenal. But our boys came out smoking, double blazing guns.
That was a great performance.
Yeah,
that was a great performance. I still remember that. We watched the game
Chelsea
together.
hands down, and they won the trophy.
Yep.
That to me was a sweet one. Even though the likes of the small devils, they call themselves,
The Red Devils.
they were saying, "Oh, is that his trophy they should be happy about?" But I remember when they won the trophy, they were running around the whole Trafford jubilating.
I agree.
So it's sometimes they smoke this shishi and the shishi affects their head. I mean, shisha affects their head.
Okay, so obviously Arsenal ended up winning the FA Cup 2014, 2015. And then in 2016, we signed Petr Cech. Mm-hmm. And that's like one of the first times in my life I've ever seen teams, like analysts, pundits, actually selecting Arsenal to win the Premier League. And I'm thinking to myself, we have a shot at winning the Premier League here. And I remember the first game of the season against West Ham, you went to the Emirates for that game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they lost 2-0.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Oh, my God. That was when I knew Cech was a big robbery.
Well, but he did win the Golden Glove that season.
Yeah, he did, but it was still a robbery. And trust me, I keep saying it that if you any player we bought from Chelsea was always a big disappointment.
Willian.
Every one of them. It was more like, oh boy, it's a retirement package here. Just come over here.
Yep,
and
I
they
agree.
whisper to themselves.
Cech, Willian
It's
Gallas.
always a disaster with Chelsea when you take players from Chelsea.
But for me, I felt like that 2016 season was our one and only shot at winning the Premier League for the next 5 to 10 years.
No, I disagree. Why? Because we still had a porous defense.
I
Our
think
defense was really porous, and we checked there. It wasn't good enough. Cech was more like, I keep saying it. The easiest way to beat Cech is play a low ball.
Yeah, but for me, the thing is, we kept, I think, 16 clean sheets that season, and he won the Golden Glove.
did that.
So it wasn't that our main problem came in attack. our attack wasn't potent enough. And over the summer, Arsenal were linked with striker upon striker upon striker, and we only signed Petr Cech. And I feel like at the end of the day, that is the reason Leicester City have the Premier League and not Arsenal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Petr Cech was just a robbery. We didn't need Petr
So you
Cech.
feel like we should have spent whatever it was on a striker?
Strikers.
Okay.
Because we knew our defense was porous. We knew it was porous, but we could manage it. But you see, it was just like a Barcelona in those days. Barcelona defense is not that serious, but they had serious attacking players that their belief is you score 3, we score 4. You score 5, we score 6.
Okay. And obviously, after everything that happened, you just talked about us winning the FA Cup in 2017. Wenger then leaves in 2018. Was it more of, did you feel like he left at the right time, or he had stayed too long where he was no longer a hero and was a villain in your sights?
Number one, the fans threw out Wenger.
You didn't think he should have gone?
He should have probably left earlier. But since we held on to him, he should have probably... I mean, look at it. Statistically, if you look at it, ever since he left and other people took over, nobody has been able to meet up with the record that he has. No one. He had the invisible record. No one. No coach. And I tell you, it's going to be difficult. Arteta, for me, is still learning. He's still learning, and he's still trying to bring the A games. But the A game is not yet there.
Yeah.
So I only hope we can still be within the top 4. But winning the Premiership, well, let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay. But Wenger was pushed out by the fans. Wenger could be adamant sometime because at the time he wasn't buying good players. We wanted players.
To be fair, he wasn't backed by the board.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. The board also is one of that. I think they need to take over the board. Because what pissed me off is you're reading the papers. Oh, they mentioned top strikers. And you're like, oh my God, this one is coming. And then the season comes nothing.
Like
and then before you know it, they go to bring a C-rated player.
Yep.
And you're like...
Yaya Sanogo.
Yeah, I mean, where are all these people that you were mentioning before? How come this is happening? And then before you know it, first 6 games, you have 3 defeats. And you're like, oh my God, here we go again.
Okay. So, Unai Emery's Arsenal. I tell every single person I know. First of all, I was in the Emirates with that Crystal Palace 3-2 loss. That is the worst performance I've seen. Second worst performance I've seen from an Arsenal side. And Unai Emery was responsible for that because he played Mavropanos, played Lichtsteiner, just a bunch of players who eventually cost us top 4. But I always tell people the worst day of my life was 28th of May 2019, the Europa League final.
Yeah.
Did you go into that game thinking we most definitely have this? Because I did. I thought Chelsea had qualified for the Champions League. This is our only shot at going back to where we want to be. So did you have that same feeling, and what were your reactions after the game?
At that game, it was so... I had 2 things going for us. Look, we need to show Unai Emery that you're a piece of shit. Sorry to use that word. Then secondly...
No, not the Villarreal one. I'm talking about the Chelsea Europa League final.
Yeah, okay. No, okay. Sorry, I was talking about the Villarreal one. At that particular match, it was glaring that we're going to lose.
You did? You thought so?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was glaring that we're going to lose. It was glaring because there was no bite.
For me,
and then to find out that one of our own, Giroud scored. Yeah. It was so painful.
And it's even more annoying because he is the reason we didn't win the Premier League in 2016.
Exactly.
When he went on that God-forsaken goal drought.
That's it. So now he came back to haunt us. So from the blast of the whistle, I think Chelsea came out smoking. And our boys didn't have any response.
And for me, that just exemplarizes Arsenal after the departure of Wenger.
Yeah.
Under Wenger, they were toothless, but now it's even worse because that game was all about Arsenal. We should have won that game. And Kolasinac, Koscielny, Torreira, Socrates, Cech, they all just Maitland-Niles. Some of the Aubameyang disappeared. Like some of the worst performances I've seen from professional footballers in a final game. And that's what cost us
the problem with Arsenal player is that sometimes they're like old men on the field.
Like Socrates.
They lack the enthusiasm, they lack the power, They lack that composure, and they just feel as if, okay, they are playing warm-up matches.
I don't think they were built for that situation.
No, they were, but the point was that, and it happens. Sometimes you see them this week, they're smoking hot. You're like, finally they're here. The following week, you see them and you wonder,
It's a
is it
mentality
the same thing? Exactly. Is it the same thing that played last week?
It's a mentality
So
thing.
until when this is gotten rid of, trust me, the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes of any game tells me if Arsenal is ready or not.
That is the current state of Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah.
I agree. There are games when if Arsenal is not winning the ball back, and it's two things. If they are not winning every second ball, you don't see them going into. You don't see them aggressive enough in the first 15 minutes.
That's it.
I fear they're going to lose.
Yeah.
And if they score first and they are not still doing the exact same thing,
That's it.
Those are the two situations
That's
I
it.
know Arsenal
That's
are not
it.
going to win this
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
And for the Europa League final, that is exactly what it was. Chelsea won every single thing.
Every
They didn't
single
have.
ball.
They didn't need to do it,
Yeah.
and Arsenal needed to do it. But Chelsea came and just
Because
blew
Chelsea
us
has
out
already
of the
qualified
park.
for Champions
Exactly.
League. And this was our own chance. And then Chelsea now took it. And it was
Exactly.
like, oh my God. But the most painful one was against the Villarreal, I must tell you. It was against Villarreal.
I watched
we
the
had
game.
every opportunity to nail Unai to the cross.
Yep.
But Unai came and then battered us.
I'm telling you, I watched the game with my friends in university, and I have never been more upset about an Arsenal result in my entire life.
Yeah.
For me, the whole second leg performance was shambolic. It was disgusting. Every single senior player should be ashamed of themselves. I was done with Arteta at that point in time. That was the game that made me and Arteta out, even though I'm on the fence as of right now. It just was not. It just
That
epitomized
particular
where
game was
Arsenal
not
is
about
right now.
Arteta. It was about the players.
I think he lost us the first leg with that formation.
Yes, but the second leg, he decided to make up for it.
And then the players didn't step up.
That is it.
And that's the reason Arsenal in the situation they are.
Lackluster posture. There was no aggressiveness. There
No
was
chances.
nothing. They were
Only-
not out for nothing.
Only person I could see trying was Smith Rowe.
Smith Rowe has always been like that, but what can the guy do?
He's just 19.
Even Saka that I expected that would turn around some things, I don't know what happened that
But
day.
for me, the thing is it's a bit unfair to put the blame on them too, because Saka is my age mate.
Yeah,
Smith Rowe
sure.
is a year older than
Sure.
me. I feel like I say this every single big game. Arsenal senior players should be embarrassed of themselves, because the likes of Aubameyang, Thomas Partey, Hector Bellerin at the time, Granit Xhaka,
Yeah.
they all sat back and were waiting for these youngsters to step up and take control of the team, when in truth we needed them to be the major character and voices of the team at that point in time. It's like when Henry was in Arsenal, you would
Yeah.
not expect Fabregas
Yeah.
to take the game at
No.
the scruff of the
No.
neck. You would
No.
expect it from Thierry Henry.
No.
And the Arsenal players right now are still not doing it.
At that point in time, or so to say, they all have heavy legs. They're all old men.
I feel like it's just an excuse for them.
Yeah, but the point is that, the so-called board and the coach should know the A-game guys. For example, with all the noise about Folarin played the last Carabao Cup, and I didn't see anything from him.
I think he should go on loan.
Exactly. That's what the coach should do. Don't try to paint it. We didn't pay anything. And for crying out loud, let Uba go. His time is up.
I agree.
Let Uba go. His time is over.
No.
Like I said, still okay. If he wants to go, let him go.
So you think, were you okay with Aubameyang being stripped of the captaincy?
Yeah, I was.
Did you think it was deserved?
The last 3-4 games, he went way, way down. On those, the one that really comes to mind is the game against Everton. The last minute pass to him.
And
that
he
was
just
a goal.
scuffs it wide. Yep.
That was a goal. There was no two ways.
I agree.
And then it cost us that.
I agree.
And you want him to be the captain. Knowing that before that, was it the game against Leeds or who? Just the first 5 minutes, he was in front of the post and he played the ball over the bar.
Newcastle. He played it into the bar.
Right in front of the goal.
Yep, I agree. I feel like the thing about him is he was never captain material, but he was the best player on the pitch.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
led by example.
Because he was always scoring, by the way.
So now that he's declined to a large extent, it's just extremely frustrating to watch him alone. And when you watch him, you now think, oh, he's Arsenal captain. That's what made it worse.
Yeah.
So
for me, I must tell you the truth that we're still a process in the making.
Yep, I agree.
Arsenal is not yet fully there.
Yep.
I can't wake up and say, yes, today Arsenal is going to win. Just like I told you in the days of popcorn, taking your drink. Right now is always your heart in your mouth. But we're getting there gradually. We have some good player. Extreme. I mean, when I watch Smith Rowe comes in and scores a goal, I'm like,
Yeah, I love Smith. His mother is my favorite
watch
Arsenal
Saka
player.
and then he mesmerized people. Even lately, the game against, what's it called? The Carabao Cup against...
Nketiah.
Not Nketiah, Pepe.
I'm done with Nicolas Pepe. I'm done. I'm
No,
done with him.
no. But I know, but that game was like he created most of the chances for Nketiah.
Yes, but it's against Sunderland. I need to see him being consistent.
Yeah, you can say against Sunderland, but then it is what it is.
Good props to him for stepping up when his number was called. But I
know he's finished.
I'm
but
still not
he did his
convinced.
best. Even trust me, Nketiah, I still don't appreciate his game.
He has
I would
improved. He's way better than Arsenal fans think.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's not good enough.
Those passes he got from Pepe, they were like what any good
For me, he
striker
just
could convert.
he has the poacher's instinct for a team like Brighton or something. I don't think he's Arsenal level at this point in time.
Now you're talking. That's more like it. So that's the thing about this whole process. But until when, I want to see them rise up to the likes of the Liverpool. I look at Shell Sheet, even though I call him Shell Sheet, he has 11, but he has another 11 on the bench that could come in and create.
Man City.
I mean, Man City,
So who do you think should be Arsenal's new captain?
Right now, out of all those lots, one person I've given it to that commands it, Gabriel.
I agree. I Gabriel was my first pick. But I felt like the language barrier might have affected him because he doesn't speak English.
And that person coming up, even though he's Ramsdale.
He's very vocal.
Ramsdale commands on the field.
He's very vocal.
Very
I
vocal.
agree. So you don't think Tierney? You don't think?
Nah, Tierney now.
Okay.
Tierney doesn't command it.
So Ramsdale and
Gabriel, and
there's been some talk about Ben White. Do you think Ben White should?
No, Ben White made some stupid mistakes sometimes. So also with Tavares. Tavares makes stupid mistakes sometimes.
Yeah, he's very chaotic. Tavares is very chaotic.
makes stupid mistakes sometimes.
I like Lokonga. I feel like
no.
I feel like he comes with his position.
No. Not like that. I mean, Shaka plays in that position, but we know Shaka is just a red card person in that position. You understand? So you can't easily get the ball from him. But for Lokonga, yes. But for me, the guys who I really feel will be
Gabriel and Ramsdale. Okay. And obviously, like you said, the nucleus of this team is very young. We're not looking to compete for the Premier League now. Yeah. We're building a team for the future. So
absolutely.
Who would you say are your top 3 Arsenal players as of now?
Saka number 1, Smith Rowe number 2, and then my third person, Odegaard.
Okay. Do you like Tomiyasu?
Tomiyasu is good, very good. But placing him side by side Odegaard, I'll pick Odegaard.
Yeah, but the thing is, with Tomiyasu for me, he doesn't do anything fancy, so he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He's like a James Milner, comes in, does his job 8 out of 10 every week.
There was a particular game he played, and from his flank, they kept on coming.
It was Brighton.
Was it Brighton or West Ham?
No, West Ham, we dominated them. It was Brighton.
But it was from his flank every time, and I was wondering why.
He had a bad game, but for me, Tomiyasu is one of our best players as well.
Maybe I'll put him in the 4th place. Okay. But for me, it's Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard.
Okay. And moving away from Arsenal a little bit, what team do you hate the most, and why do you hate them the most?
Okay, the team I hate most, Man U number 1.
He has a list.
Man U number 1.
I agree. I hate Man United more than anything in this world. I hate them so much.
Then, you said the first 3, right?
Yeah, your top 3.
Man U number 1, then closely followed by Tottenham.
Okay. And then Chelsea, of course.
I might say I hate them, but not as in hate. It's
okay.
Chelsea. They're nothing about it. The third team, West Ham.
West Ham. Oh, is it because of that experience in 2015?
Yeah. West Ham. Yeah. West Ham.
Okay, yeah. And last but not least, because like you said, you grew up watching Arsenal and all that. Mm-hmm. So I want to know your top 5 Arsenal players of all time.
Of all time, Thierry Henry, Fabregas.
Henry number one, like in numerical
right,
order.
Thierry Henry number one. Yeah, I would go for Van Persie number two.
Okay, that's very bold. Most Arsenal fans would not agree.
No, I'll go. Van Persie was good.
Yeah, he was,
Very,
but just
very
because
good.
of how he ended.
Well, it's not his fault. Why would the coach accept to sell him to Man U, for instance?
I mean, the little boy's voice in his head was screaming Man United. I will never forgive Van Persie. I'm sorry, I won't.
I mean, it's one of those things. And at the end of the day, like I said, where is he? He never really made it after he left us.
He won the Premier League, but aside
And then
that,
after
his
that,
career
nothing
went
else.
downhill. Yeah.
Henry, Van Persie, then Fabregas.
Okay. Top five.
Top five. Fabregas. And at the fourth position, might be funny. Oh, no, sorry. I want to remove Fabregas. I want to put Vieira.
Okay.
Vieira is my number 3.
So Vieira your number 3, Fabregas your number 4.
No.
Okay.
Saka my number 4.
Oh, wow. You have high expectations for him. Okay.
Saka my number 4. And then my number 5, I give it to Smith Rowe.
But he likes the young stars.
Ahead of Fabregas.
So you don't like what of Fabregas, Arshavin, Walcott?
Nah. I give it to Smith Rowe as my number 5.
Okay. He's a big fan of Haaland, Haaland constantly producing.
Yeah. I
But
give it to him.
Thank you for coming on that. It's been a pleasure having you on. I'm sure the people have been excited to hear your story. As an Arsenal fan growing up in Nigeria, what drew you to the team? I've been excited to hear it as well.
Yeah.
If you guys want more of my dad on the podcast, please just let us know in the comments or something. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. Leave us a rating on all podcast streaming platforms. This will probably go up on YouTube as well. So thank you for your time and Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. We out.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here. And then Merry Christmas to you all.